Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll sing the Star-Spangled Banner and lift every voice and sing. Lieutenant?
Hand over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day's begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you.
What are we waiting for?
Please be seated.
Good morning. My name is Sally Manzanet Daniels. I am the Senior Associate Justice of this venerable court, the Appellate Division, First Department. It is my honor and privilege to serve as your mistress of ceremony on this most auspicious occasion, the investiture of the Honorable Diane T. Renwick. On behalf of our inductee and presiding justice of this court, the Honorable Diane T. Renwick, we welcome and are so honored to have you here in our majestic courtroom. The governor of our great state, Kathy Hochul. Also with us is the Chief Judge of our state, the Honorable Rowan Wilson. Now, I've been tasked with the perilous duty to acknowledge distinguished guests. If the list is incomplete or I falter and miss anyone, please know it is an oversight and no disrespect is intended thereby. With us today, we have, again, from the Court of Appeals, our Chief Judge, Rowan Wilson. We have Associate Justice Jenny Rivera. Retired Chief Judge Jonathan Lippman. Retired Associate Judge Albert M. Rosenblatt. And retired Associate Justice Carmen Beauchamp-Sapara. We welcome also Elizabeth Fine, counsel to Governor Hochul. Lisa Zornberg, counsel to Mayor Adams. Sylvia Hines Radix, Corporation Counsel. And it is my absolute pleasure to introduce my colleagues, the members of this court, starting by seniority order, as we do everything in the appellate division. The Honorable Troy K. Weber. The Honorable Cynthia S. Kern. The Honorable Jeffrey K. Oing. The Honorable Anil C. Singh. The Honorable Peter H. Moulton. The Honorable David Friedman. The Honorable Barbara R. Kapnick. The Honorable Ellen Gesmer. The Honorable Lisbeth Gonzalez. The Honorable Tanya R. Kennedy. The Honorable Sally Ann Scarpula. The Honorable Manuel J. Mendez. The Honorable Martin Schulman. The Honorable Julio Rodriguez. The Honorable Bahati E. Pitt Burke. The Honorable John R. Higgett. The Honorable Yannick Rosado. The Honorable Kelly O'Neill Levy. And our newest member, the Honorable Marcia D. Michael. Welcome also to our retired PJs from the Appellate Division First Department, our most recent, the Honorable Rolando Acosta. The Honorable Luis Gonzalez. Retired Acting PJ, Peter Tom. And to our dear Betty Weinberg Ellerin, who is with us virtually from her hospital bed. She insisted to participate, so she has the link. And we wish her a full and speedy recovery. God bless, Betty. To our retired justices of the Appellate Division First Department, my sister Angela Mazzarelli. Richard T. Andreas. David Sachs. John Sweeney. James Patterson. James McGuire. Carla Moskowitz. Leland DeGrasse. Helen Friedman. And Rosalind Richter. From the Appellate Division's Second Department, we have with us their presiding justice, Hector D. Lasalle. The Honorable Cheryl Chambers. The Honorable Betsy Barros. The Honorable Paul Wooten. The Honorable Lillian Wan. And the Honorable Lourdes Ventura. From the Appellate Division Third Department, the Honorable Eddie McShann. You didn't realize you were going to get a warm arm workout, did you? We still have another page to go, so get ready. All right. From the Unified Court System Administration, our Chief Administrative Judge, Joseph Zayas. Norman St. George, our first Deputy Chief Administrative Judge. Edwina Richardson, our Deputy Chief Administrative Judge for Justice Initiatives. And Deborah Kaplan, Deputy Chief Administrative Judge of the New York City Courts. I will now go through our supervising judges of our courts. Richard Rivera, statewide coordinating judge for family court matters. Joseph Capella, administrative judge, Bronx Supreme Court, civil term. Alvin Yearwood, administrative judge, Bronx Supreme Court, criminal term. Adam Silvera, administrative judge, New York Supreme Court, civil term. Ellen Bybin, administrative judge, New York Supreme Court, criminal term. Margaret Grays, administrative judge, Queens Supreme Court, civil term. Anne-Marie Jolly, administrative judge, New York City Family Court. Caroline Walker Diallo, administrative judge, New York City Civil Court. Tamiko Amaker, administrative judge, New York City Criminal Court. Bronx District Attorney, Darcel Clark. New York County District Attorney, Alvin Bragg. Adrian Holder, Chief Attorney of the Civil Practice of the Legal Aid Society. Welcome. Our county clerks from Bronx County, the Honorable Aisha Bravo. And from New York County, the Honorable Milton Tingling. We have with us Dean Melanie Leslie of Cardoso School of Law. And Dean Matthew Diller of Fordham University Law School. We have Barclay Collins, Chair of the Board of Trustees of the New York Botanical Gardens. Robert Giffra, Chair of the Board of Trustees of the Historical Society of the New York Courts. Robert Haig, the New York State Commercial Division Advisory Council. Robert Cohen, Chair of the New York State Judicial Screening Committee for the First Judicial Department. Alan Levine and Jonathan Lippman, co-chairs of the Appellate Division's Representation of Justice Advisory Panel. The Honorable Cheryl Gonzalez, President, Judicial Friends Association. The Honorable Lourdes Ventura, President, Latino Judges Association. The Honorable Werner Saunders, President, Association of Supreme Court Justices of the State of New York. The Honorable Marcia Hirsch, President, New York Women Judges Association. The Honorable Shahabuddin Ali, President, Association of Asian Judges of the State of New York. Laura B. Jordan, President, Bronx County Bar Association. Carl Forbes Jr., President, Metropolitan Black Bar Association. Angelique Moreno, President, Puerto Rican Bar Association. Adrian Koch, President, New York County Lawyers Association. David Scher, President, New York State Trial Lawyers Association. And Susan Coleman, President, New York City Bar Association. And last, but certainly not least, Justice Renwick's family, starting from my left, I understand. Her sister-in-law, Linda Noel Kawabata. Niece, Sydney Noel Renwick. Sister-in-law, Bernadette Renwick. Brother, George Renwick. Someone we all know, the Honorable Robert Johnson, her beloved husband. And one of her three beautiful sons, Justin Johnson. Her sister, Lucille Renwick. Brother-in-law, Randall Archibald. Cousin, Eleanor Applewaith. Brother-in-law, Gary Johnson. And cousin, Lincoln Pascal. I had to take a moment, sorry. Welcome, one and all. We are delighted that you have chosen to join us in celebrating this historic moment. The investiture of the first African-American woman presiding justice to the appellate division in the 129 years since the court's creation in 1984. To be clear, Presiding Justice Renwick is not just the first woman of color to the Appellate Division First Department. She is the first woman of color to any department. Let's give it up. I have the privilege as this court's senior justice to serve as MC this morning, but it is as our PJ's longtime friend and coworker throughout our overlapping career roles that I can say it is my joyful honor to share in her well-deserved appointment and this celebration. Presiding Justice Renwick and I first met in the halls of the Office of the Criminal Defense Division at the Legal Aid Society in the late 1980s. Where we dutifully and with great commitment represented the indigent. Our time there did not overlap for long, as her reputation for excellence propelled her forward, and she accepted a position with the federal defenders, our counterparts in the Eastern District of New York. Our paths again crossed when she was appointed to the Housing Court and in short order nominated to the Civil Court of the City of New York, Bronx County. However, it was our dual nominations to the Supreme Court in 2001 that would bring us together again as co-workers. In fact, our last few years in Supreme Court were shared with our chambers next door to each other. It was evident to all in her universe that she possessed that special something. She was a rising star. Hence, it was no surprise when she broke the glass ceiling with her elevation to the appellate division in 2008 as, again, the first woman of color to be named to this court. Thankfully, our separation was not for long as I joined her here the following year. There are certain qualities that immediately come to mind when I think about my friend, our presiding judge, Diane Renwick. She is the embodiment of grace, poise, and elegance. She possesses exceptional judicial scholarship, intellectual curiosity, and an unwavering dedication to excellence. Most people know her as a serious jurist, and she certainly is. But don't be fooled, there's a great sense of humor in there too. PJ Renwick is a strong, proud Caribbean daughter of hardworking middle-class parents that instilled in all their children the importance of hard work and education and faith. She adored and respected them both, and I have no doubt that they are with us today in spirit, with their hearts just bursting with pride, as we all are. We join them in that sentiment. She is the loving wife to the former Bronx District Attorney and Supreme Court Justice Robert Johnson. But her greatest joy is that of being mother to the loves of her life, her three handsome, brilliant, and well-mannered sons, Julian, Justin, and Graham. PJ Renwick, if I may, my friend, Diane, we are so very proud of your accomplishment and know that, as always, your colleagues, all of us in this court, are here with you and for you, and at the ready to continue the superb legacy of this nationally acclaimed intermediate appellate court. We have no doubt that you too, like those who have led before you, will place your indelible mark of excellence on this honorable court. May God bless you and guide you. I am pleased to now welcome for his remarks by our Chief Judge of the State of New York, the Honorable Rowan Wilson.
This is my one and only chance to sit on this bench, so I'm going to enjoy it. Good morning. Actually, strike that. This is a great morning. It's a wonderful morning. It's a marvelous morning. It's an amazing morning on which we celebrate Diane Renwick's appointment as the presiding justice of the Appellate Division, First Department. I first met Justice Renwick in the spring of 2013, and then only briefly, when we were both on the list sent to the governor as candidates to fill the vacancy created by the untimely and devastating passing of Judge Ted Jones. On that list with the two of us were also Justice Sheila Abdul Salam, Judge Eugene Fahey, and Justice John Leventhal. And I must say that Justices Abdul Salam, Fahey, Leventhal, and Renwick were objectively more qualified than I to fill that vacancy. I had the immense privilege of having Judge Abdul Salam as a friend, colleague, and mentor, but for only a few months. Judge Fahey is the same for several years and continuing, at least as friend and mentor, and Judge Leventhal is the same, though not as a colleague on the Court of Appeals. Justice Renwick, too, has been my friend, colleague, and mentor over my time on the court, and with her appointment as presiding justice of the First Department, we may now work together on matters that determine the operation and structure of the unified court system, where her long experience, wisdom, and incredibly sound judgment help guide the administrative board of the courts. There is an alternative universe I think about sometimes, even though I don't like looking backwards and dwelling over what-ifs. It is one in which Justice Renwick was chosen to fill Judge Jones's seat. Judge Abdul Salam succeeded Justice Acosta as PJ of the First Department, I succeeded Judge Piggott, as it happened in real life, and Justice Renwick became Chief Judge of the Court of Appeals. Well, it sort of looks like
I like
that
it
at the
better
moment.
this way.
And I would trade that alternate universe for this one in a heartbeat, both because in it, Judge Abdus Salam would be with us today, and because Presiding Justice Renwick would be Chief Judge. In that universe, I would have the job I love most, careful and creative thinking about the law. And Chief Judge Renwick would have all the court administration and public appearance work at which she would excel. In the words of Jerry Herman and Sally Menzen Daniels, she's got built-in elegance. It would have, both for me and the people of New York, been a great joy to have that alternative universe instead of the one we have. But we have the universe that's here, and I have to say, my personal preferences aside, the real universe is an awfully good one. The First Department is the single state appellate court in the country that has the greatest volume of challenging commercial cases, even more so than the Court of Appeals, because our docket is much smaller and much more discretionary. Businesses from all over the world choose New York law and a New York forum because of the quality and speed of the commercial division within the First Department and the sophistication of the justices of that court, the Appellate Division First Department, in rendering timely, clear, and authoritative decisions. There's a sort of feedback loop between the superb quality of the First Department in commercial cases and the desire of businesses to choose the courts and law of New York, and that redounds to the benefit of all New Yorkers because it is an important part of securing our prosperity and furnishing the resources with which we can address other social needs. Having Justice Renwick at the helm assures us that our state's motto, Excelsior, will be fulfilled. It should also not be lost on us how different the judicial leadership looks, and even when you look around this room, how different the judiciary looks. And take a moment to look around. Different than it looks not that very long ago. Presiding Justice Renwick is, of course, the first African American and the first woman of color to lead the First Department, and her ascension was foretold by the placement of a golden female lawgiver towering over the courthouse and over the weathered all-male statues that have crowned it for more than a century. When you turn your gaze from those old statues and look at the UCS leadership, or look at the members of the Appellate Division First Department, or the Second Department, or the courts around our state, you see something quite different than you would have seen 25, 50, 75 years ago. And I hope you see simultaneously not just the present, but also the future. So regardless of whether the alternate universe might have been even better, the moral arc of this universe has been bent, in no small part due to the intelligence, compassion, and determination of my friend, the Honorable Diane T. Renwick.
Thank you so much. And now, as we draw closer to the moment that has brought us all here, it is my honor to introduce for the delivery of her remarks and administration of the oath of office, the governor of the great state of New York, the Honorable Kathy Hochul.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Associate Justice Daniels. Thank you very much. And, Chief Judge Wilson, I didn't know if you're proposing a swap here. But given that I had a little bit to do with both your positions, I mean, I can do whatever you like here, but I thought you wanted your job, and I think you're going to do fabulous here, so we'll just leave things the way they are. But and I will not go through the repetition of all the distinguished names again. Can you grant me that? But I do want to recognize, thank you again for your extraordinary leadership here in guiding us today. And to Judge Rowan, I want to thank you for really bringing this court to the prestige that I wanted it to be. The Court of Appeals of the state of New York has a certain cachet to it, and people look to it with this sense of awe and wonder, what are they going to do next, because we are so nation leading in what we do. The rest of the nation watches what we do, and I want to thank you for stepping in and already in your limited time in this role. I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to you for accepting the position and for making us so proud in the state of New York. And of course, just Judge Lippman, Jonathan Lippman is here as well. I want to thank him for raising the bar so high on the rest of the bar and really setting the standards that others work so hard to achieve. And I thank you for that as well. Honorable Joseph Zayas is here, our Chief Administrative Judge. I want to thank you for the weight of responsibility you have, because since I became governor 2.5 years ago, it's been deeply personal to me to have an imprint on the judicial system, not in an interference way, but to say, what do you need to be better? How can we help you? And that's adding more judges, more resources, and understanding that when the courts are clogged up, people are denied that basic right they have of justice, timely justice. So thank you for your work in that as well. Liz Fine, who is an extraordinary advisor to me and has recommended many of our judges after her thorough scrutiny, and I want to thank her for all she does, and to many of you. We do have our district attorneys here, Darcel Clark, proud representative of the Bronx here, and our Elvin Bragg, our district attorney from Manhattan. I want to thank both of them for the work they do, and of course the family. What a proud day. What a proud day this is. And to Robert Johnson, power couple of New York here, I thank you for your service. Longest serving Bronx DA. I don't know if Darcel, you're trying to go for his record or anything, but the longest serving, and of course, your son, Justin, who's here to do, and all your family. It's great that even your cousins come, and this is a big deal. This is a big family event, and everybody looks real serious now, but I hope you take her out and have a really good time later today to celebrate this. But you have brought such a depth of experience and passion and staying in public service your entire career, helping those who desperately needed a voice to represent them, New York City's indigent, and helping people in housing court. And we know how important that is when people are facing the specter of losing their home and the stress they're under, and bringing that experience to all your positions that were so beautifully laid out by your colleague who's been with you for such a long time. And that really does bond you closely together. But this is no ordinary court. There is no other court like this in the nation. And you think about, we are the center of commerce and trade and entertainment and finance and intellectual leadership. And so when people have conflicts that bring people to this court, they're next level conflicts. They require the disposition and the knowledge and the intellect to be able to manage complex commercial transactions, and of course, the need to keep people safe in their homes. So when the businesses in this community come before you, it's very sophisticated. And I want to thank you for your leadership in this place, because people look to the courts. They look for their day in court. They look for justice. They look for truth. And all of you are the arbiters of this. And you have the perfect disposition for this based on your life's experiences that have brought you here today. So I could not be prouder to have named you. I spent a lot of time naming judges. In the 2.5 years I've been governor, I've had 23 Court of Claims judges, 13 interim Supreme Court and County Court justice, 32 justice the appellate divisions of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th departments, 2 associate judges, the Court of Appeals, and 1 chief judge. I feel like saying a partridge in a pear tree. Yeah. But every one of them took a lot of serious consideration. There's always outstanding people who step up and say, I want to do this. And we have to make decisions based on what I believe they'll bring to the bench. And my standards are very, very high. And I have this sense of exceptionalism that's associated with New York. And I want all my jurists and judges and anyone I have anything to say over to symbolize that to others, that this is the place for excellence. And we will lead the rest of the nation in what we do here. So I thank all of you. And again, there are a lot of firsts. I know a little bit about that. But I know, just like me, you didn't take this position to make history in this position, although you do. You're here to make a difference, just as all the people I've selected. And I have the most diverse pool of individuals who are now judges in the history of this country, I believe. I can name off all the firsts, but I'm not going to, because I want them to know that they were all selected not because of their first, and someday we'll never even reference the first because it will be so obvious. Of course they're here. They represent New York. Of course they're here. But I wanted everyone to know that they were selected because they're the best. That is my test. They were the best. And I'm so proud to be able to selected, once again, the best for this critically important position based on your life experiences, your passion, your heart, your temperament, everything that I think is so critically important. So this is a day that brings me great joy and pride to be able to present to you, official after I do this, the presiding justice of the court here, and I will begin by having you stand up and raise your hand, presiding judge, Justice, New York State Supreme Court Appellate Division of the First Department. That's quite a mouthful. Do you want your husband to come up? Your son, too? Up to you. Okay. Congratulations. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Thank you. All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Diane T. Renwick,
I, Diane T. Renwick,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of Presiding Justice of the Appellate Division, First Department,
of the office of the position of Presiding Justice of the Appellate Division, First Department,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Well, wow. So much has been said. Maybe we can just go home now. But I appreciate all of it. Good morning, and thank you very much for taking the time to join me on this extraordinarily meaningful day. Thank you, Justice Manzanet, for your lovely words, kind and warm always, and thank you for your friendship. And over the many years and that we've had the privilege to know and work with one another, starting as young lawyers in the Bronx office of the Legal Aid Society. Chief Judge Wilson, I like this version, except for the absence of Sheila Abdus-Salam. But I do think that the governor chose the absolute right person to be Chief Judge of the state of New York. Thank you for your presence, for your thoughtful and generous introduction. You provide a shining example of strong, wise leadership through your work ethic, your strategic and probing questions on the bench, your erudite and clear judicial decisions, and your humility. Your refreshing and most welcome collaborative approach to leadership demonstrates your respect and appreciation for the work of our colleagues and staff statewide. I am beyond honored to be on your team and have the opportunity to work with you on the administrative board of the courts as we seek to improve, strengthen, and support the entire unified court system. Thank you so much for being here. Governor Hochul, thank you for taking the time out of what I know is an incredibly busy schedule to be here this morning. I extend my deep and sincerest gratitude to you for this appointment, for the words you said that this is not only a first, but the qualities that you look for in determining and selecting a presiding justice. I thank you for appointing me presiding justice of this great court. That was 7 months ago, but the benefit of having my investiture 7 months after my appointment is that I'm able to tell you that serving in this role has fully exceeded my expectations. Navigating and puzzling through problems, policy, and perspectives is stimulating and fulfilling. I'm grateful for your confidence in me and for your leadership in ensuring that our courts reflect the diversity of the people we serve. Thank you also for appointing a full complement of justices to this court and for your overall steadfast support of the judiciary and our independence, and for understanding that the First Department and all of our courts can most efficiently administer justice when we are fully staffed with judges. Thank you for recognizing that. As you heard, the Appellate Division First Department was created at the Constitutional Convention in 1894. It began hearing cases in 1896 and held its opening ceremony in this majestic courtroom on January 2nd, 1900, 20 years before women would have the right to vote. A New York Times article noted that there were women among the audience. I would hasten to guess there were no people of color present. I know that as our first woman governor, you are keenly aware of the honor and great responsibility that comes with being a first. When I was first appointed an associate justice by Governor David Patterson in 2008, I was only the fourth woman to serve on the court. I followed the inimitable Betty Weinberg Ellerin, who's watching, the first woman appointed to this bench, who remained the only woman here for nearly a decade, and also the first presiding justice who was a woman appointed to this bench. And she remained the only judge here before being joined a decade later by Justice Angela Mazzarelli, who recently retired as the longest-serving woman on any appellate division in the state. She remains a big sister and trusted advisor to women and men on this court and was referred to as the conscience of the court by former presiding Justice Louis Gonzalez. These two formidable women served together for about a decade before Justice Ellerin retired and Justice Mazzarelli was again the lone woman for 3 years. Ask them if their perspective of women on this bench made a difference. 2008 marks the year the number of women on this bench steadily began to grow. Justice Carla Moskowitz began in January of that year, and I in April. Today, women comprise a majority of our bench. 13 of our 21 justices are women. In this department alone, 4 women, including myself as presiding justice, have been appointed by Governor Hochul. Since our court's founding, however, only 22 of the 140 justices have been women. The words of Jane Bolin, Judge Jane Bolin, the first Black woman judge in United States history, ring true. In 1958, contemplating the length of time from the country's founding until women obtained the right to vote, Judge Bolin wrote, "I'm always impatient with those who say, 'You women have come a long way.' Since I'm no gradualist, I think to myself that 150 years is too long a time to come a long way." Well, we've made strong strides, particularly over the last 16 years, but we still have some catching up to do. Being presiding justice of the Appellate Division First Department is, of course, a distinct honor and privilege, not only because I care deeply about the law and its impact on future generations, but also because I care deeply about the future of our legal profession and of our students. As leading lawyers and jurists, we have a responsibility to our students to cultivate an understanding the importance of the law and the role of government in our everyday lives. I'm proud to continue to advance our Representation of Justice initiative, to contextualize our art and court history, to be more reflective of our communities, our civics education initiative to inspire middle and high school students to become more engaged and interested students, and our increased programming to open our court to the legal community for educational and other programs. These efforts to develop and put into perspective the court's art and to enhance student engagement through civic education programs are only possible with the support of the legal community. I'd like to thank the AD1, Appellate Division First Department's Representation of Justice Advisory Panel for their efforts with our art projects, and organizations like Girls Rule the Law, Legal Outreach, bar associations, and individuals who've already partnered with us to make the Appellate Division First Department a more inclusive institution and public space that welcomes and inspires engagement from the community. I invite all of you who are interested to join our efforts. I'm also grateful to the bar and committee leaders who are present today. We work better together. I welcome your interest and questions on all issues concerning our court. This august court sits in the financial and cultural capital of the world, as has already been mentioned. The cases that come before us are among the most complex and significant in our country, and the breadth of cases involve everything from multi-billion-dollar complex commercial litigation to landlord-tenant cases, AI, child custody determinations, and felony criminal appeals, to name a few areas. Every justice and non-judicial employee of our court here recognizes the extraordinary responsibility we have to the people, agencies, and businesses that come before us to provide justice under the law in every case, no matter the dollar amount or stature of the litigants involved. As we undertake to analyze the facts and apply the relevant law in each case that comes before us, our role is to be thorough, thoughtful, deliberative, and unbiased. I can confidently attest that the justices of this court are fully dedicated to diligently achieving those goals every day. The Appellate Division First Department has been delivering justice for more than 128 years now, and has often been referred to as the preeminent intermediary appellate court in the country. As presiding justice, my goal is to continue to work with my fellow justices and staff to enhance the work of the court and maintain its stellar reputation. I will do everything in my power to ensure that we continue this tradition of excellence in a balanced way with integrity, equality, and fair treatment of all people who come before our court without prejudice. As you know, one does not attain a position like this on one's own. A number of people, mentor, colleagues, friends, and family have supported me throughout my career. I want to just take a moment to thank a few of them, and please indulge me. Thank yous go to my prescient supervisor at the Legal Aid Society, Pauline Mullings, who did what excellent mentors do and offered me sage advice I had never asked for or contemplated to apply to the federal defenders. To two exceptional mentors with whom I was privileged to work during my 8 years in the Eastern District, the incomparable Tom Concannon, a longtime attorney in charge of the federal defenders of the Eastern District who passed away some years ago, and the courageous, no-nonsense federal judge Sterling Johnson, Jr., who passed away a little over a year ago. Tom's light, irreverent personality was incapable of masking the sharp intellect and vast experience with which he guided us on matters of life and work. Judge Sterling Johnson, Jr., an unparalleled mentor and friend, encouraged and believed in me more than I did myself. I miss them both. To former Chief Judge Jonathan Lippman, who as Chief Administrative Judge, appointed me to my first judicial position as a housing court judge, and has continued to support and encourage me throughout my judicial career. To Roberto Ramirez, the visionary Bronx County Democratic leader, who ignited the movement to increase diversity in the Bronx courts, from which I benefited, and whose efforts continue to yield benefits today. To the past chair and executive director of the Franklin Williams Commission, Honorable Lewis Douglas and Joyce Hartsfield, for raising awareness that an inclusive, diverse bench and bar benefits us all, and for opening doors. To the justices of the Appellate Division, First Department, past and present, your sharp minds, diligence, and careful deliberation of issues make this court stand out. I thank you for your unwavering commitment to our goal of fairly administering justice. Thank you for your work every day. To our nearly 300 outstanding staff, including those at our auxiliary agencies, our 6 auxiliary agencies, who together comprise our AD1 family, your level of expertise and dedication to serving the public with the highest degree of professionalism inspires me daily. To the excellent team of attorneys who produce well-researched reports with expert analysis under very demanding schedules, you are among the smartest people with whom I've had the privilege to work. to our outstanding clerks, analysts, IT staff, court officers, engineers, and custodians who work tirelessly behind the scenes to support the work of the court. To Susanna Rojas, the outstanding clerk of the Appellate Division, First Department. Who has served in several different legal supervisory capacities in the First Department since 1996. In her 14 years as clerk of the court, she has given sound guidance and competent counsel to now 4 presiding justices. Thank you, Susanna. To my chamber staff, Mary Ann Lawton, Natalie Ramirez, and Adam Horowitz, you are terrific, and I appreciate your every effort to ensure that our chambers runs efficiently, and thank you for your help in putting all of this together. To William Ramos, my excellent court attorney, who has worked beside me, supporting me for over 20 years, thank you for your unwavering dedication to the law. Thank you to my 2 court attorneys prior to William, Honorable Maria Ressos in Housing Court and Honorable Allison Tewitt in Civil Court. As their titles suggest, both became judges. To my dear friends watching online for always cheering me on and reminding me of what's important. And most of all, to my family. Your love, support, and encouragement has sustained me throughout my career. My parents, both immigrants of Grenada, West Indies, were not formally educated, but were highly skilled, incredibly hardworking, determined, and wise. They raised my siblings and me to believe in the importance of education, determination to achieve our goals, resilience, and love of family. Their incredible sacrifices and the strong foundation they provided inspire me to this day. My brother and sister, who are so supportive of me and their better halves, equal halves, Randy and Byrne, who I've known since high school, my best friend from high school, provide so much support, and I'm so grateful and lucky to have such a wonderful family. As much as my parents taught me to believe in myself and be tenacious, it was an older cousin, a successful lawyer, and the only lawyer I knew who led me to believe that becoming a lawyer was attainable. A strong, accomplished woman, a woman of many firsts, and of incredible success in her own right. She faced the challenges of being one of a very few women, let alone the lone African-American woman in her Columbia Law class of 1962. And in the legal world, I think there were only 3 women in that class. She rose through CBS's law department and went on to Channel 13 WNET, where she retired as vice president and general counsel. She's been a great role model in my life, my cousin, Ellie Applewhite. I want to extend a big thank you to my immediate family, my loving and supportive husband, Rob, Justice Rob Johnson, who you've already heard, a man of first on his own right as the first Black district attorney in the state of New York, and having served for 27 years, the longest serving DA in the history of Bronx County. And my sons, Julian, Justin, and Graham, I adore you. I couldn't be prouder of each of you. I send my love and big hellos to Julian, who's working, and to Graham, who's watching with his friends from Barcelona, where he is studying abroad, which leaves Justin. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. Thank you for being here. You know your brothers appreciate your presence, and I appreciate it too. You are an excellent representation of your brothers, and I love you all. We often hope that our lives and careers will have lasting significance. In my case, I hope that my journey from my parents' humble origins to my position of distinction will inspire and encourage younger generations of lawyers judges, and citizens. For I believe that we all possess remarkable gifts that can improve our society if only we receive the nurturing and encouragement that we need to thrive. I am grateful to my community of supporters and to all the remarkable women and men who have paved the way for my appointment and upon whose shoulders I stand. I thank you all for being here today. You honor me with your presence. Thank you so much.
This concludes our ceremony. We hope you will join us all for some light refreshments and some food in the lower level. Thank you all for coming, and again, we welcome you downstairs.
I've never seen
They're the
chairs.
heaviest chairs in the world.
I've never seen sculpted heavy. That's amazing.